my phone too. I'm seeing what you're seeing.
No, I know. Bill's son.
Oh. It's.
He had it.
Okay. Yeah, text me. He said the audio's working. Okay. All right. I'm going to hang up. Cool. 30 seconds. Here I go. Welcome to Mill Valley High School. It is week 1 in the state of Kansas, and we couldn't be more fired up to have you along on a10varsity.com and Sports Radio 810 WHB. I am Tim Spurl. This is the game of the week, and this might be the game of the year in the state of Kansas. The Derby Panthers out of the Wichita area have made the trip up here to Shawnee, Kansas, to take on the defending 5A state champion. Derby, no slouch in their own right. If you're not familiar, the two-time defending 6A champion in the state of Kansas. The last time the Derby Panthers lost was in 2018 at the hands of, 2017 at the hands of now Badger Graham Mertz in the 6A state title game back in 2017. They are 26-0 in the last 2 seasons. Mill Valley, they went 10-3 last year, and again, they won 5A. They look to repeat this year in a loaded 5A, and Derby, of course, wants to repeat in 6A. They're trying to make it a three-peat, and we couldn't be more thrilled to be bringing this one to you. Derby across the way is going to be in their white uniforms. They've got the black pants, the green numbers, the white lids, if you're listening to us on Sports Radio 810. And Mill Valley on the home side, they've got their navy tops, the white bottoms, the white letters, white numbers on the back, and the white lids on top. This game was not on the schedule all summer, but with teams falling out and the uncertainty of COVID, these two teams had a spot open up for week 1. And I haven't mentioned this yet. The head coach, Joel Appleby for Mill Valley, is also cousins with the head coach for Derby, Brandon Clark. They also spent time on the same staff with each other a few years, well, not a few, more than 10 years ago in Derby before Joel Appleby took over. And Joel Appleby, this is his 11th season as the head coach for Mill Valley. Of course, he won it last year, but he has now captured 3 state championships in his history. Brandon Clark on the other side for Derby, very illustrious in his own right. 5 state championships with the Derby Panthers since 2013. You see it on the stream. And right now, Mill Valley is getting set to kick it off to the Derby Panthers. Shadows crawling across the field out here at the newly renovated Mill Valley High School Football Stadium. Derby set to receive. They will go right to left across your radio dial, across your computer screen in this opening quarter. The speedster, Dylan Edwards, a sophomore at 5'8", 145. Back deep to return for Derby, Chris Tennant. He is going to be a Kansas State Wildcat next season. He is one of the best kickers in the metro area. Don't expect Dylan Edwards to get his hands on this one. Chris Tennant, more than 40 touchbacks a season ago. The run-up, and we are underway in 2020, and sure enough, a touchback through the back of the end zone. You hear the roar of the crowd. What they did here was they gave each student, each cheerleader, each band member 3 tickets. This stadium, on a good day, fits about 5,500 people. Joel Appleby told me the capacity is about 1,200 or so if everyone got their 3 tickets. That was the same for the Derby side. Each player got 3 tickets. And again, this is a Derby team from the Wichita area. They had to make the 3-hour trek up here. Still a good showing, all things considered. For all the tickets made available to Derby, I bet there is a seat for each ticket. Here comes Derby, led by quarterback Lem Wash, 6 foot, 205. Carried it for nearly 90 yards a ball game last year. He empties out the formation. And sends Edwards in motion to the right side. He's going to fake it to him. Wash bounces it near side across the 30-yard line, dancing his way across the 40. Good run by Lem Wash, and this guy is a dynamo. Like I mentioned, over 90 yards on the ground per game last season for Lem Wash. He's already got a Missouri State offer. And here he comes, 3 to the right, 1 to the left, and they keep Dylan Edwards in the backfield to his right. Wash is going to give it to him, running behind left guard, and he plunges forward for maybe a couple. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 8 play. Derby last season, this offense averaged 54 points a game. They return only 4 starters in this offense. Lem Wash, the quarterback, is not one of them. He was technically the number 2 guy. We're going to talk about that in a minute. As he tries to sprint out right side, he gets corralled a yard back of the backfield. He's going to lose a yard, and it's going to be 3rd and 9 from Derby's 41 on the opening drive. A 3rd and 10 coming up. They're going to spot it actually back at the 40, make it a 3rd and 11. Just underway, opening quarter from Mill Valley High School. Derby, an early 3rd down test. 3 to the left, 1 to the right, off the right hash mark for the Panthers. Wash, hard count, checks the far sideline. The sophomore tailback, Dylan Edwards, remains in the backfield to the left of the senior quarterback. Threw for 14 touchdowns, only 1 interception last year. He's going to fake to Edwards, has time, stepping up in the pocket. He steps into a sack. Drops back at the 33-yard line. First sack of the year for Pete Jansen, the senior outside linebacker. And it'll be 4th down. This team did not punt the football a lot last season, and they are going to be forced to punt on the opening drive of the ball game. They pick up a 1st down on the first play, and then go backwards on 2nd down and 3rd down. And the punt unit out there for Derby. It was a loss of 7 after the sack. Good snap, high, shallow punt. Sidewinding is fair caught near the 34-yard line by Jacob Hartman. And here comes that Mill Valley offense. We talked about them a little bit in the pregame. This is an offense for Mill Valley that returns 8 starters. Averaged 34 points a game last season, on their way to a state championship. .9:34 to go in the first quarter. 1st and 10 as Mill Valley takes over at their own 33-yard line. Cooper Marsh is going to turn. He's going to give to Quinn Wittenauer. Charging forward, picking up a couple of yards on the ground across the 35 near the 36-yard line. First stop for Jack Heilman. Middle linebacker for Derby, 88 tackles a year ago, 14 tackles for loss. The guy only stands 5'9". He is a pint-sized dynamo in the middle for the Derby Panthers, and he's already got his first stop on the year. 9:09 to go in this first quarter. Gain of 3. It'll be 2nd and 7. I mentioned both these offenses very similar. They go out of the shotgun. They go out of the pistol a lot. They spread it out, but they love to run the football. Mill Valley, 260 yards a game on the ground last season. Wittenauer goes into deep motion behind Cooper Marsh. Marsh is going to fake it to him, throw a slant over the middle, complete it to his tight end. Spinning forward near the 1st down marker before he's dropped is Jared Napoli. Going to depend on the spot, and they are going to go ahead and give it to him. Out to the 43-yard line. Marsh and Mill Valley are going to move the chains to their own 43, 8:46 to go. First quarter, no score. Derby had to punt on their opening drive. And now Mill Valley picks up a quick 1st down on 2 plays. Marsh is going to send a man in motion to the right side. That's Kendrick Jones. He's going to fire an out route, far side for Napoli, off his hands, and incomplete. 2nd and 10. Last year, Jared Napoli, 18 catches, 272 yards and a touchdown through the air for the junior tight end. Cooper Marsh, he was very good on the ground last year. Through the air, he came around as the season progressed. He completed 52% of his passes, 20 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. On the ground, though, he was a real threat. 924 rush yards and 10 touchdowns through 13 games. Sends Napoli in motion to the right side out of the pistol. High snap. Marsh gives to Wittenauer in the middle, and he is submarined behind the line of scrimmage. A loss of a yard. And it's going to be 3rd and 11 as Wittenauer is slow to get up. Or excuse me, not Wittenauer, but Robbie Durbin, the left guard, is slow to get up. Durbin hops up immediately, though, and they're going to make him come off for one snap. Ryan Fulcher will spy him. 8:09 to go, second quarter. And just like what we saw from Derby moments ago, we see Mill Valley with a 3rd and long here on their opening drive of the ballgame. 6'1", 172 pounds at quarterback is Cooper Marsh. This kid is going to play baseball at the next level. 3 to the left side, 1 to the right side. High snap. Marsh looking left, stepping up, throwing a deep ball far sideline. That is hauled in. A great catch made near the 32-yard line by Kendrick Jones, going over the shoulder. And Mill Valley is going to move the chains into Derby territory. That was a pretty pass. They ran essentially a corner route out of the slot to Kendrick Jones, and Cooper Marsh dropped it in the bucket. To the 30-yard line of Derby goes Mill Valley on this opening drive of the ballgame. 7:30 to go, opening quarter. They're going to fake to Wittenauer. Marsh is going to pull it straight up the middle, lowers the shoulder, and powers forward near the 21-yard line. Call it a gain of 8 on first down. Shadows almost completely covering the stadium here at Mill Valley atop the brand new press box here at Mill Valley High School. 2nd and 2 play from the Derby 22. 7 minutes to go in quarter number 1. 2 to the right, 2 to the left. Wittenauer to the left of Marsh. Marsh is going to fake to him. He wants to throw. Zips a pass outside, right side near the hash marks. That is complete to Jones, who is inside the 10 near the 6-yard line. It's going to be 1st and goal, Mill Valley. Jaguars moving the ball very well on this opening drive. Cooper Marsh on the mark on this opening drive. The senior quarterback, Coach Appleby, said really came into his own in this offseason. 2 receivers to the left side out of the pistol. 1st and goal from the 6-yard line of Derby. Marsh turns, gives to Wittenauer, looking for room, knifing through a hole, diving for the end zone. He is short of the goal line near the 1-yard line. Quinn Wittenauer nearly got there, picks up 5 yards, and it'll be 2nd and goal from the 1. Quinn Wittenauer, the backup tailback a season ago, averaged 64 yards a game rushing the football behind Tyler Green. Had 9 touchdowns on the ground, 1 through the air. And here comes the 2nd and goal. 6:12 to go, opening quarter. 3 receivers in the formation on a 2nd and goal play. Marsh gives to Wittenauer straight up the middle. Welcome to the 2020 regular season. Quinn Wittenauer is in the barn, and we're underway. Mill Valley strikes first on opening night. Surgical for Mill Valley on their opening drive. They go 70 yards, and Quinn Wittenauer finishes it off with a 1-yard touchdown run, his first of the season. Chris Tennant on for the extra point. He hit the game-deciding field goal in the state championship. He puts that one up and through. We'll step aside. 7-0. Derby strikes first on your Sports Radio 810 High School Football Game of the Week. Mill Valley ready to give it back to Derby. 6:02 to go opening quarter. And Mill Valley goes 70 yards on their opening drive of the ball game. Quinn Wittenauer gets into the end zone on a 1-yard touchdown plunge. And now Chris Tennant has got it teed back up. Despite the restrictions, this Mill Valley crowd has been loud. Tennant, the run-up, and this boot is high, end over end. This is going to be playable. It's going to be fielded off the 2-yard line on the far hash, across the 20-yard line, dragging a tackler forward to the 23. Before getting dropped right there is the return man for Derby, Reed Liston, and here comes that Derby Panther offense. Again, the Derby Panthers, over their last 2 seasons, have gone 26-0 behind head coach Brandon Clark. The most successful team in the state of Kansas, maybe outside of Miege, but I mean this Derby team, again, they're playing the best competition in the state of Kansas in Class 6A. They stormed Olathe North last year in the state championship game, 63-26. Lem Wash in that game went off. 4 touchdowns on the ground and a touchdown through the air, and he starts out of the shotgun on their second drive of the ball game, and movement before the snap and a false start on the Derby Panthers. Slow start offensively for Derby. I mentioned a punt on their opening drive, now a false start to start drive 2. But like I said, Lem Wash in that 6A state championship game had himself a day. 5 of 7 for 115 yards through the air and a touchdown, but he carried it 15 times, 177 yards and 4 touchdowns on the ground. Lem Wash, a senior this season, again, already holds the Missouri State offer, holds an offer from Tennessee Tech, but he's getting a lot of Division I interest. And this senior season is the year to show out. They're going to option pitch near side to Edwards. Across the hash mark, he hits the sideline at the 25, spun forward to the 30, but a flag flies back near the 16-yard line. And that's probably going to be in the area of holding. Wait for the official call, but it looks like we're going to have 2 penalties in a row against the Panthers, and we are. A holding on the edge. It's set up real well, and it looked like Dylan Edwards was going to pick up about 15 yards on that play, but again, a hold negates it. And Derby's going backwards on their second drive of the game. 5:47 to go opening quarter. 7-0 Mill Valley. Again, they forced a punt on Derby's opening drive and then took it 70 yards and scored a touchdown with little resistance on their opening drive. And now drive number 2 for Derby. And more whistles. A stoppage, and Derby is going to start this drive after the 2 penalties off their own 8-yard line. First and forever. You got to get out to the 33 for a first down. 1st and 25. Wash is going to flare it out right side to Liston. In space, trying to make a move, but he is submarined at the 11-yard line. Not a lot of room out there for Reed Liston. This Mill Valley defense flowing real well. Trey Worcestershire on the stop. Worcestershire 73 tackles a year ago. 2 interceptions from his strong safety spot. And there's a Derby Panther slow to get up. Mentioned it in the pregame. Derby, I mean, this is a system. I mean, you're talking about kids that are growing up in grade school, middle school, with aspirations to go to the high school and play. So it is a lot of plug and play. They don't always boast the Division I talent across the board, but year in, year out, they're competing for state championships. This year, I mentioned it in the pregame, this offense only returns 4 starters on the offensive side of the ball. And we're seeing a slow start to this game. It doesn't mean that it's going to be a slow offense all season. It's just going to take a while to get their footing. It's an offensive lineman down. We'll keep you right here for the moment. Hopefully he can hop up. They had 2 guys that were all-state honorable mention. The injured man helped to his feet is Deshaun Wright. And he's going to be helped off the field on the far side for Derby. But he looks all right, able to get off under his own power now. 5'11", 165 pound. The junior last year was a sophomore, 2 catches, 38 yards. And obviously supposed to have a much bigger role here in his junior season, a starting receiver opposite of Reed Liston. So hopefully he'll be all right as he limps over to the trainer's table. 2nd and 22, 5:32 after the injury to go in this opening quarter. And Derby is backed up offensively again. Off the far hash mark, Lem Wash will start out of the shotgun. 3 receivers to the left side, 1 receiver to the right side. And Edwards to the right of Wash, the right-hander, with a play fake, stepping up in the pocket, scrambling around, getting chased. He is going to get dropped, lose the football at the 10-yard line, scramble for it. Mill Valley says they have it, waiting for the official call. Do we have our first turnover of the season? We do not, as Derby is able to come back away with it, but nearly losing the football after Ethan Kramer caught him from behind and dropped him and stripped the football away. Instead, it is going to be 3rd and real long. 3rd and 23 for Derby. 4:51. Let's see if Derby just keeps it on the ground here and now whistles, and Brandon Clark wants a timeout. This Mill Valley team with a good start to this ballgame defensively. Offensively, again, I mentioned they had little resistance on their opening drive, but boy, defensively, they're flying around. They're playing real well, but again, some of that is maybe in due part to this being a pretty new offense for Derby, pretty green on the offensive side of the ball. I mentioned they returned 2 offensive linemen that were 6A All-State honorable mentions, Jonas Vickers and Alex Key. The other guys, although big, although talented, are green on that offensive lineman. We've already seen 2 sacks from this Mill Valley defensive front, one by Ethan Kramer, the other by Pete Jansen on the opening drive. Out of the timeout from Brandon Clark, it's going to be 3rd and 22, 4:47 to go in this opening quarter. Derby backed up at their own 10-yard line. Four receivers in the formation. Edwards, the only tailback to the left of Wash. Wash is going to play fake. He wants to go to the air. Getting chased. Rolling right. Throwing across his body. Dangerous. Caught in the middle of the field by Reed Liston. And now it comes out after the hit. And Liston slow to get up. And now he'll get pulled up. But nearly a circus grab made by Reed Liston. But on the contact, it comes out. And it would have been right at the first down sticks. Instead, it's going to bring up a 4th down. This secondary is experienced, to say the least. Cole Clotter, Trey Worcestershire, Blake Martin in this secondary all returned from that unit a season ago. And Joel Appleby praised him. He said this is a very smart group on the back end. That time they were waiting for the crossbody throw. Punt unit out there whistles and another flag flies before the snap. And is it going to be a delay of game? Yeah, delay of game. And that's kind of one of those situations where, again, the receiver looked like he was hurt. It took him a while to get pulled up off the turf. I'm surprised that they didn't give him a second to get off before resetting the play clock. Either way, Derby backs up to their 5-yard line. The punter on the end line gets sort of a nice spiraling boot into the night sky. It sails out of bounds, and we'll see where the referee marks this one out. Walking it up across the Derby 40. Puts at the 42-yard line of the Derby Panthers. So, again, if you're Derby, all things considered on that punt, you're still not upset with it, considering a punter standing on his back line. It was a beautiful punt, just sails out of bounds at the 42. And here comes that Mill Valley offense. And like I mentioned last drive, not a lot of problems moving the football. Cooper Marsh, he was on target. Quinn Wittenauer finished the drive with a 1-yard touchdown run. And here they go again. Their second drive of the game, 4:29 to go first quarter. They take over from the Derby 42-yard line. You're listening on Sports Radio 810 WHB and watching on 810varsity.com. Marsh fakes to Wittenauer, pulls it out right side, and he gets roped down behind the line of scrimmage. Maybe the loss of a half a yard. Isaac Swettenham crashing in, made the stop, 6 foot 220. First year as a starter on this defensive line, had 9 tackles as a junior last year. But he's starting on this defensive line. He makes his first big stop of the year right there. 4:03 to go first quarter. 2nd and 11 after Marsh loses a yard on the ground. 2 to the right side for Marsh off the left hash mark. Going to fake to Wittenauer again. Wants to throw. Loading up. Fires a deep out route and completes it again to Jones, who spins across the 28-yard line, out of bounds near the 27. They're going to move the chains again. Kendrick Jones busy in this opening quarter. They've targeted him 3 times already in this first frame. And Jones, good size, 6'5", $190 as a junior. Had 24 catches last year, just shy of 400 yards, and 3 touchdowns through the air. Out of the slot this time. Off the right hash mark from the 28-yard line. Marsh, short drop all day, is going to roll to the left. Now he's getting chased, fires it into the dirt in front of him, incomplete. As Andon Carpenter was bearing down on him, applying the pressure. He had time, but again, there was nothing open initially. Tried to buy himself time. Last year, Marsh, when he scrambled, he normally did it to run. This year, at least so far tonight, when he's scrambling, he's looking to hang in the pocket and fire a pass. We've seen him do it a couple of times. That time, though, unable to find an option, and he just had to get rid of it. 2nd and 10. Hartman lines up wide to the right side. Jared Napoli in the slot to the right side. They're going to fake to Wittenauer. Marsh behind those big offensive linemen. Turns his feet to the 25-yard line. Pickup of about 3, and it's going to be 3rd and 7 with 3:30 to go in this opening quarter. Mill Valley on the move again. Like I mentioned, 10-3, 5A state champions a year ago. Their losses were all tight. They lost to Blue Valley West in the opener by a score, 28-21. They lost to Bishop Miege 2 weeks later, 42-35, and then they lost to Aquinas the following week, 28-21. So this team keeps everything close. And right now, they're in a 7-0 advantage with 3 minutes to go in this first quarter. Marsh taking his time off the right hash mark, a 3rd and 7. 3 to the left, 1 to the right. High snap. 3-step drop. Now he's going to roll to the left side. Marsh is going to tuck it and run across the 15, 10, 5. Cooper Marsh is into the barn from 25 away. He keeps it himself, and it's 13-0. Mill Valley. We mentioned the athleticism that Cooper Marsh has. And there, short drop, didn't see it, rolled, and took off. And Cooper Marsh has got Mill Valley up 2 scores in this opening quarter. 25 yards away, and Chris Tennant on to try to add the extra point. What a start for the Jaguars on opening night. Extra point up and through, and now a flag flies. And we'll see if we need to do it again.
There's a flag down.
And it's going to be against Derby, so the extra point will count. 14-0. 2:47 to go first quarter. Mill Valley on a roll on Sports Radio 810. $14-0. 2:47 to go opening quarter on Sports Radio 810 WHB and 810varsity.com. Mill Valley has been shot out of a cannon in this opening quarter. They have forced 2 Derby punts, nearly came away with a turnover on a fumble, and they have gone with little resistance and scored 2 times on the first 2 times they've touched the football. High end over end kick through the back of the end zone. There was an unsportsmanlike conduct call on the extra point. That's what the flag was. And so Chris Tennant off the 50-yard line. I mean, that's easy money. That guy may be able to hit a field goal off the 50-yard line. Again, this guy is going to go kick at Kansas State next year. Already has the full scholarship offer, and he is committed to be a Wildcat kicker. And here comes Derby. And I mentioned it in the pregame, not a ton of Division I talent for this Derby Panther team this year. And their offense has started slow tonight. Lem Wash, one of those guys that could end up being a Division I player, has already got a couple offers, is going to option right side. Edwards let it go right through his hands, ball loose on the far sideline. Derby saying they have it, Mill Valley saying they do, and Derby is going to retain possession for a second time. They nearly avoid a costly turnover. That pitch just went right through the hands of the running back, Edwards. And fortunately for him, it was by the sideline. I think that may have gone out of bounds, if anything, but it's going to be a loss of a couple yards. Back to the 18-yard line. 2:39 to go first quarter. Derby in a 14-0 hole at Mill Valley. They're going to fake to Edwards. Wash is going to keep it, nowhere to go. Maybe picks up a yard into that middle of that defensive line. And it is a big defensive front for Mill Valley. Ethan Kramer was 5A All-State as a D lineman last year. Already has a sack tonight, 6'1", 270 in the middle. Alongside him, Aiden Schaefer, 6'1", 280 as a junior. And Cole Knappen is the DN, 6'3", 243. Here comes a 3rd and 10 for Derby. From the far hash mark movement before the snap, and whistles fly. We're going to have another false start on Derby. That is now 4 penalties against Derby in this first quarter. And that number should shock you if you're familiar with Derby. This is maybe the best coach in the state of Kansas. Again, when I say that, there's always going to be someone that wants to argue with me, but the record speaks for itself. 5 state championships since 2013, but either way, that's a lot of penalties for a very well-coached ball club. Wash from the shotgun, play fake with time, trying to dump off a screen to Edwards near side. He's got it and with some room across the 20, 25, cut back near the 30. Foot race, there goes Dylan Edwards near sideline. No one's going to catch that man. Dylan Edwards has just taken the screen 85 yards, and Derby is back within a touchdown. How about the breakaway speed from the sailback? On a 3rd and 10, he turns on the burners and leaves a bunch of blue jerseys in his wake. 85 yards, catch and run on the screen pass. And Derby can make it a 7-point game with the extra point. That guy's electric. Wow. Scott Simmons on for the extra point. Hold, kick on the way. It is good, no flags. 14-7. Don't go to sleep on Derby. They're the 2-time defending 6A state champs. It's a touchdown game on Sports Radio 810.
Kicking for Derby, number 38, Scott Simmons. Back deep, number 3.
14-7.
And number 5.
You blink, you missed it. Dylan Edwards just went 85 yards on a catch and run on a 3rd and 10 play to make it a 7-point game. End over end line drive kick far side. Jones is going to watch it go into the end zone, a touchback. And here comes that Mill Valley offense. And like I mentioned, in a flip of the switch, it's just a one-score game again. Last year, Dylan Edwards, he was very good. Was not the starting running back. They had Trey Washington for Derby, and he was fantastic. He was a great running back for the last couple of years here at Derby. Dylan Edwards was only a freshman last year, and he put up very good numbers for a great program in Derby. 433 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. He averaged 7 yards a carry as a freshman playing for the best team in Kansas 6A. And he makes his impact early on in this game. Cooper Marsh with a play fake, and he gets dropped in the backfield. There was some confusion on that play for Mill Valley. Cooper Marsh opened up to the left. His running back went off his backside, and he gets dropped for a loss of about 4 yards. And coming up from his DN spot to make that stop was Quentin Dorsey. 1:20 to go first quarter. 2nd and 15 for Mill Valley off of their own 16-yard line. I'm Tim Sproul. You're listening on Sports Radio 810 and watching on 810varsity.com. 2nd and 15, Marsh from the shotgun. Throws an out route near side. High grab made by Hartman, and now he drops the ball. And they're going to call it a catch as he gets bumped out of bounds at the 22-yard line. Now, that was a bang-bang play, and it was coming right at our sideline. He made the catch, got bumped out of bounds, and then the ball came out. He didn't drop that ball. The ball was dislodged, but they call it a catch, call it 7 yards, and it's going to be 3rd and 8 with 1:04 to go in this opening quarter. 14-7, Mill Valley leads over Derby in the opening quarter. Marsh with 3 to the left side. Short drop. Stepping up in the pocket. Fires one over the middle. High grab made by Jones right at the sticks. That's going to move the chains. They keep on targeting Kendrick Jones, and he is repaying Cooper Marsh. And that time, he repays him with a 9-yard grab and a first down to the 33-yard line. Inside of 50 seconds, we crawl in this first quarter. Mill Valley offensively has looked very crisp so far tonight, playing in front of their home fans of a crowd of probably about 1,100 or so. This place can fit 5,500, but again, the restrictions kept the capacity down. This out route complete to Jones near the 39-yard line as he tiptoes the sideline and gets out of bounds right at the 40. They're going to call that 7 yards on first down, 2nd and 3. 31 seconds to go in this opening quarter. Kendrick Jones, again, we mentioned it. Great size, 6'5", almost 200 pounds as a junior. This guy keeps playing like this, catching everything thrown to him. He's going to see some offers start to roll in. Jeremy Crabtree is not even here, but I can hear him drooling over this kid. 6'5", almost 200. Lining up as a tight end, lining up in the slot and catching everything Cooper Marsh is throwing his way. 2nd and 3 off the right hash. Whistles blow this one dead. And we're going to have a false start against Mill Valley. Couldn't ask for a better night. Sitting around 80 degrees in Shawnee, Kansas on a beautiful evening for some high school football. Brandon Clark, Joel Appleby, 2 of the most successful coaches in Kansas high school football right now, cousins. They were on the same staff in Derby just 12 years ago before Joel Appleby made the move up here to Mill Valley, where he took over as head coach, and in 11 seasons with Mill Valley, he has now won 3 state championships, including last year's state title over Wichita Northwest. 2nd and 8 after the penalty off the near hash. They're going to give to Wittenauer on a counter, and he gets plugged up in the middle. No gain for Wittenauer. It's going to be 3rd down. This could be the final play of the quarter. We'll see if they even get it off. 15 seconds and rolling in this first quarter. Appleby may be content to just wind this one to the end of quarter number 1. We'll see. Marsh backs off into the pistol. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. We're at the end of 1. 14-7. Cooper Marsh and company. A 1-touchdown lead over the defending 6A state champions Derby Panthers. Stay with us on Sports Radio 810 WHB and 810varsity.com. Welcome back to Mill Valley High School. Week 1 of Kansas high school football. Missouri got started last week. Kansas a week late to the party. But it has been a great party through one quarter as we start quarter number 2, 14-7. Mill Valley up a touchdown. They've got a 3rd and 8, though, on their own 35-yard line. Marsh out of the shotgun, running out of time, floats one up the sideline. That is batted away and incomplete. A great play made by the corner, Corey Akins, to get up and bat it away. And it's going to be 4th down, the first 4th down of the night for Mill Valley. And on comes the punt unit again off their own 35, so really a no-brainer here for Joel Appleby and company. And trotting back there to return is going to be Edwards, who had that 85-yard touchdown catch for Derby on the previous drive. It's one of the more interesting PA announcements I think I've ever heard as whistles blow this punt dead. The PA announcer had to let everyone know that if they're going to stand up and cheer, I got to wear a mask. It's just a... Sorry, I had to listen to the PA guy. This is so enticing. I've never heard announcements like these, but they're relevant, but they're just funny to hear for the first time. If you're going to stand up and cheer, have something on that face. 11:55 to go second quarter. Mill Valley punt unit out there, and Dylan Edwards back deep. Here is a good end-over-end punt. It's going to hit at the Derby 35, take a Mill Valley roll inside the 25-yard line all the way down to the 21. That's where it will get down. And here comes that Derby offense. Again, they started this game real slow. A lot of penalties in that first quarter. They weren't getting a lot of traction on the ground. They weren't doing anything through the air. And then a 3rd and 10 play from their 15-yard line. Lem Wash dumped a screen pass to Dylan Edwards, and he scampered 85 yards through the Mill Valley defense for a touchdown to cut it to a one-score game. Derby forces a Mill Valley punt, and now they're back out there with a chance to tie this game. 11:42 to go before halftime. Maybe that play was what they needed to get this offense kick-started. Wash is going to keep it right side and dive forward near the 24-yard line. Gain of about 3 yards on the first down carry. Pete Jansen over there alongside Colton Jagan for that stop. Colton Jagan, the second leading tackler on this team a year ago, 88 tackles, 2.5 sacks, and a pick for the Mike linebacker in this Mill Valley defense that returned 6 starters from last year's state title team. 4 receivers in the formation. Liston goes in motion to the left side. Wash, option pitch to Edwards, near side, dances around one, flag flies as he is mowed down at the 27 by Colton Jagan again. But the flag is at the 22 in the Derby backfield, and that's probably going to mean this one's going to go against the Panthers. 11 minutes to go till halftime from Mill Valley High School, and it is going to be a hold against Derby. Talked about a lot of penalties in that first quarter. Their first penalty in the second quarter comes just a minute into the second quarter. Another hold. And they're going to go from a potentially 3rd and 5 to all of a sudden a 2nd and long. Because, again, that hold came in the backfield. It's going to be a 2nd and about 17 play for Derby. Wash off the near hash, out of the pistol set. High snap. He's going to option to the left side. He's going to keep it, and Jagan is there to pop the ball free. Ball loose for a 3rd time in this first half. This time, Mill Valley has got a takeaway. Colton Jagan all over the field on this series. Pops the ball loose, and Mill Valley is there to recover. They have forced 3 fumbles in this first half, and finally they recover one at the Derby 14-yard line, and the Jaguars are in business up a score. 10:47 to go till halftime, and Mill Valley is going to start in the red zone after the fumble. And Lem Wash, he had issues holding on to the football last year, 5 fumbles, and he coughs it up for a second time tonight. Marsh out of the pistol. Wittenauer behind him. They're going to give to Wittenauer, dancing his way between tacklers, diving his way to the 5-yard line. 10-yard scamper through the middle for the Dynamo Quinn Wittenauer. 5'11", $166, but he is quick, man. And he hopped through a couple of big defenders in an instant. First and goal to the 5-yard line. They go quick to the line from the middle of the field. Marsh is going to fake to Wittenauer. He's going to pull it himself and go into a white wall near the 4-yard line. There were 4 Derby defenders waiting on Cooper Marsh to pull that football. And it'll be second and goal. Jack Heilman, the middle linebacker, led the charge defensively for Derby. He's been a busy guy in this first half. 10:15 to go till halftime. Second and goal again for Mill Valley following the fumble recovery. Wittenauer the deep back. 2 receivers to the left side, 2 tight ends in the formation for Marsh. From the middle of the field, Marsh is going to bootleg near side. Marsh is going to tuck it. He's going to try to dance for the pylon. He dives, and he is going to be short out of bounds near the 1-yard line. It's going to be third and goal from just outside that Derby end zone. Marsh already has a touchdown on the ground tonight. Had a 25-yard touchdown scamper in the first quarter. 9:56 to go till halftime. Mill Valley knocking on the door once again. Third and goal from inside the 1-yard line. Wittenauer is going to be the deep back. Marsh lines up in the pistol off the left hash mark. Marsh is going to keep it behind right guard. He is going to plow his way into the end zone. Cooper Marsh has got his second rushing touchdown in this first half, and Mill Valley leads 20-7. Cooper Marsh in this offense, man, they are not skipping a beat so far tonight. This offensive line has been fantastic. Again, this offense returns 8 starters from a year ago, 10 extra point, up and through. 21-7, Mill Valley after the short field and the fumble. They get another touchdown. They're up 2 scores on Sports Radio 810. We got time. We got time.
Kicking off number 99, Chris Kennett.
21-7. Mill Valley adds another one after the fumble, and Tennett's kick is going to sail out of the back of the end zone just right of that right upright. And here comes Derby. Problems offensively in this first half. A lot of penalties and not protecting the football. They have fumbled 3 times in this first half. Mill Valley has only recovered the 1 on the previous drive. But Lem Wash, he's coughed it up twice. And Dylan Edwards has the other fumble. 9:51 to go till halftime. All Mill Valley in this one. Like I said, up 21-7. And Derby scratching their heads over there, trying to figure something out offensively. Again, they have the 1 big play touchdown to Dylan Edwards, but they have had a lot of troubles outside of that play. Wash, off the far hash mark, is going to keep it straight up the middle. He is going to get hammered down 3 yards deep in the backfield. They tried to set up that RPO look, and Mill Valley was waiting on it.
Watch with the carry. His tackled by number
Dalton
33,
Harvey
Hunter Gray.
was out there, as was the weak side safety Hunter Gray. And they're going to mark him back 2 yards, make it 2nd and 12, 9:26 to go till halftime. This Derby offense averaged 54 points a game last season. 4 receivers in the formation. They're going to give to Edwards, and he is pinballed in the middle of that defensive line, only picked up a yard, and it's going to be 3rd and 11. But so far tonight, this electric offense has only added 7 points. They have had to punt twice, and they've also turned it over. A fumble on their previous drive. Here's another 3rd down for them, 3rd and 11, off their own 19-yard line on the far hash mark. 3 receivers to the right side, the wide side, 1 receiver to the short left side. And Edwards remains the tailback to the left of Wash. Wash taking his time with 5 on the play clock. Short drop, stepping up in the pocket, breaks off 1 sack. He is going to unload this one off his back foot, hangs in the air and incomplete. Nearly intercepted by Blake Martin in the middle of the field. That one was like a bloop shot off the end of the bat that the center fielder just couldn't get to in time, and it's going to be 4th and 11. And the punt unit out there again for Derby. Back deep for Mill Valley will jog Jacob Hartman and Kendrick Jones. Jones has been electric offensively tonight for Mill Valley, catching everything they've thrown to him. He's already caught 5 passes in this opening half. Mill Valley showing a rush. They're going to come after this punt, but they get away a nice end-over-end punt into the lights. Jones is going to take it at the 45, going to try to make something happen. Makes one man miss. Near sideline, he is going to get roped down by multiple white jerseys across midfield to the Derby 48-yard line. And here comes Mill Valley again. Mill Valley has touched the ball 4 times in this first half. 3 touchdowns and a punt for Cooper Marsh and company. Cooper Marsh was 5A All-State honorable mention last year as a quarterback, trying to put his stamp as one of the best quarterbacks in the state of Kansas this season. And his year off to a good start. 2 touchdowns on the ground for Cooper Marsh already in this first half. 8:08 to go till halftime. Mill Valley takes over from the Derby 48. They're going to fake to Wittenauer. Marsh steps up in the pocket. He's going to run it. He's across the 40-yard line with a stiff arm. He gets out of bounds near side at the 38, picking up 10 yards, and it'll depend on the spot. We'll see if they move the chains.
At the 38-yard line.
Cooper Marsh now looks like he's looking to run every time he's got a scramble. And that is one of his strengths. He's very good out of the pocket. They are going to give him the first down. Last year, Cooper Marsh carried for nearly 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns on 167 carries. He also threw for over 2,000 yards and 20 touchdowns. 1st and 10, Marsh is going to give to Wittenauer straight up the middle. Spins off 1, pinballs off another. 25, near sideline, 20. Stiff arm inside the 10. 5 for the pylon. He lost the ball. And they're going to mark him out of bounds back at the 8-yard line. And it's a good thing, too, because on the dive, Wittenauer lost the football. It would have been a touchback, but they say he stepped on the end line at the 8-yard line, and it'll be 1st and goal, Mill Valley. Wittenauer got juiced by the crowd, and he wanted it all. But it's a good thing they mark him a short and mark him out at the 8. 1st and goal off the 8 from the left hash mark. 2 receivers in the formation. Again, if that's a fumble, that's a touchback. But Mill Valley maintains possession after Wittenauer went out of bounds. They're going to give to Wittenauer straight up the middle, and he gets dropped by 2 defenders at the line of scrimmage. No gain. 7:43 to go till halftime. 21-7 Mill Valley on the move again, knocking on the door. They've got a 2nd and goal coming up from the Derby 8-yard line. Derby has not lost since 2017. They are 26-0 over the last 2 seasons, including 2 6A state titles. But they are in a 14-point hole, and it could get bigger any minute. 7:15 to go till halftime. 2nd and goal. Marsh with a play fake. Marsh looking right, stepping up. Cooper Marsh breaks off one, a stiff arm inside the 5, and he's roped down near the 3-yard line. A shove after the whistle. Jack Heilman was the one that brought Cooper Marsh down in the open field. And here comes a 3rd and goal from the 3-yard line. Inside 7 to play till halftime from Mill Valley. And the Jaguars of Mill Valley from Shawnee, Kansas, the defending 5A champs, are knocking on the door once again in this first half. 2 receivers to the right side and whistles, and Joel Appleby wants a timeout. 6:31 to go till halftime. I'm Tim Spro. You're listening on Sports Radio 810 and watching on 810varsity.com. And what a first half it has been for Mill Valley. I've sang their praises offensively, sang their praises defensively. And really, outside of the 85-yard touchdown pass for Derby, the Jaguars on the other side, or the Panthers on the other side, rather, just have looked out of sorts. Defensively, they've been scrambling to keep up with Mill Valley offensively. And offensively, again, they fumbled the ball 3 times. We've seen them punt the ball 3 times. They have just struggled to move the ball, and this is not the Derby team we are accustomed to seeing. A Derby team that, again, I've mentioned this a few times already in this first half, averaged 54 points a game last season, is just struggling to move the ball. And right now they're playing catch-up with Mill Valley, just looking for a stop. Trying to give them something to build on here as we close in on halftime. Out of the timeout. Again, it'll be 3rd and goal off the near hash mark for Mill Valley, trying to add to their 21-7 lead with 6:31 to go till halftime. Wittenauer to the right of the senior quarterback, Marsh. Jones goes in motion to the left side. Marsh wants to throw. He's going to fire an out route. It is caught. Diving Jacob Hartman is into the end zone. Hartman ran a little whip route, and Cooper Marsh put it on him. Hartman made a great adjustment to the ball, had to go down low, diving to haul it in. A 3-yard touchdown strike, and it's 27-7 Mill Valley. Tennant on once again for the extra point. Up and through. 28-7. Cooper Marsh. 2 on the ground, 1 through the air. It's a 3-point lead for the Jaguars on Sports Radio 810.
They're not insane.
28-7. Mill Valley all over the defending 6A state champions Derby. On Sports Radio 810 WHB. Again, you can watch live on 810varsity.com. I keep saying it, Derby is just looking for anything. They are grasping for straws right now, trying to find some sort of momentum, because Mill Valley has had a stranglehold on this game as Tennant punches this through the back of the end zone. Again, this kid may have the best leg in the metro area. Is going to go kick in Manhattan, Kansas for the Wildcats next season as he punishes yet another poor football. Now 6:25 to go till halftime. And Derby, like I said, just trying to find anything to get going for them. A lot of punts in this first half. They've had a turnover. The one touchdown was an 85-yard catch and run on a screen pass on a 3rd and 10 play. Here comes Lem Wash. Is going to give to Edwards, knifing his way through the middle, spinning off of a tackler and bouncing out near the 22-yard line, just 2 yards on the ground for Derby. 6:09 to go in this first half. The defensive line for Mill Valley, you can't undersell what they have done so far tonight. They have been very good creating pressure. Wash, short drop, fires a hitch, far side. Low grab made for about 6 yards, and it's going to bring up a 3rd and short. Going down low to haul that in was Caden Brown. Only had 1 catch all of last season for 7 yards, and the junior has got his first catch of 2020. It's 3rd and 2. Off the far hash mark. It's a big 3rd down, it feels like, for Derby offensively. 5:24 to go till halftime, down 28-7 in their own territory off the 28-yard line. Wash is going to pull it on the RPO, spin forward, and he is going to get plugged up short of the first down marker near the 29, a yard and a half short. And this feels like a big decision for Brandon Clark. Normally, you're looking at 4th and a yard at your own 29-yard line. You're thinking no-brainer in the first half, but you're down 28-7. The defense hasn't looked good. And now they are going to put the punt unit out there again. It shouldn't be a decision, really, for Brandon Clark. It's still the first half, but, maybe there was a second thought just the way his defense has played tonight, that you'd gamble, try to pick up a yard. Punt unit out there. And again, Jones and Hartman back deep for Mill Valley, and now whistles and a flag flies before the snap. And this one is going to go against Derby as well. Nothing going Derby's way in this second quarter. Derby has punted once already in the second quarter, has a turnover in the second quarter. And assuming this is going to be their second punt of this second quarter. After the penalty, it becomes a 4th and 6 play. This punt is a high end-over-end short punt. It is going to go untouched at the 48, take a Mill Valley hop and get down at the Mill Valley 48-yard line. So the Jaguars are going to start from their own side of midfield with 4:21 to go before halftime. And again, if you're joining us late, 28-7 Mill Valley. They have touched the ball 5 times on offense in this game, 4 touchdown drives and a punt. Cooper Marsh has ran for 2 touchdowns. Quinn Wittenauer has added 1 on the ground. And Cooper Marsh on their last drive threw a 3-yard touchdown strike to Jacob Hartman. And now here they go for the 6th time tonight on offense. Off their own 48-yard line. Off the right hash. 3 receivers in the formation. Out of the pistol goes Cooper Marsh. He will give to Wittenauer, dancing inside. He picks up maybe 2 yards to midfield.
Wittenauer the carry, 8 of 3 on the play. Tackles made by number 6, Colson Siren.
Again, perfect night, floating around 80 degrees right now. It is dusk here in Shawnee. The lights are on. In front of about 1,100 fans. Band out there for Mill Valley, both sets of cheerleaders out here in Shawnee for both Mill Valley and Derby. 4 receivers in the formation. Marsh looking left, stepping up in the pocket. He is going to get dropped in the backfield. A sack for the Derby defensive line. They collapse on Cooper Marsh, and the first one around the feet of Cooper Marsh was the outside backer, Luke Stewart. Make it 3rd and 10 now for Mill Valley. 3:20 to go in this first half. And that's one of the only times they've been able to get their hands on Cooper Marsh when they weren't looking at the back of his jersey, running away from him. 3:08 to go till halftime. 4 receivers in the formation, 2 right, 2 left. And now a whistle, and Joel Appleby wants to talk about it. Timeout, 3:02 to go till halftime, and a 3rd and 10 coming up on the other side of this timeout. Thank you for joining us on Sports Radio 810 WHB and watching on 810varsity.com. And just a reminder, that tonight's Game of the Week is brought to you by Bob Hamilton. Make sure you stay tuned for the 810 WHB High School Football postgame show, brought to you by Bob Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, Rooter, and Electrical. Also, this game break update brought to you by CarStar Metcalf, your local collision repair experts in Overland Park. And you want to check a score? Check out Kansas City's first live scoreboard for both Kansas and Missouri at Kansas City's home for high school sports, 810varsity.com. And I'm sure you're all too familiar with 810varsity.com if that is where you're watching this stream from on this Friday night. Again, unfortunately, we couldn't pack out the stadium tonight due to COVID restrictions, but hey, we're just happy football is back, and hopefully you're enjoying it too on the beautiful Friday night in early September. Out of the timeout, here comes that 3rd and 10 for Mill Valley. Off the right hash mark, 3 to the left, 1 to the right. Marsh stepping up in the pocket, has time running out, fires one over the middle, hauled in by Jacob Hartman. A first down to the 37. Cooper Marsh, an excellent baseball player. He fired a dart from center field to home plate on that play over the middle. And Jacob Hartman on the receiving end. They move the chains to the Derby 37-yard line. They pick up 13 and move the chains. 2:40 to go till halftime. 3 right, 1 left. Hartman starting to get busy. Had the touchdown catch. He has that first down catch. Wittenauer remains the tailback behind Marsh, who's going to turn, give it to him. Wittenauer, not a lot of room inside as he plunges forward for a yard.
Wittenauer carry, gain of 2 on the play.
In the interior of that defensive front, Caleb Gifford led the charge, as did Colson Searing. 50 tackles a year ago for Searing, with a pick and a forced fumble. 2nd and 8 for Mill Valley. 2:05 to go till halftime. Jaguars taking their time. They would love to take this clock all the way down and add points at the end of this first half. Derby would like to say something else about that. Marsh is going to option, keep it right side, out the back door, and he is going to turn and watch the Derby defenders trail him as he walks into the end zone. Cooper Marsh, he is feeling himself now. From 35 away, he got to about the 15-yard line, turned and backpedaled his way into the end zone as he stared down the Derby defenders. It's 34-7 Mill Valley. Oh my. Speechless right now if you're watching this game. Mill Valley hanging it on Derby. Chris Tennant's extra point kick is up and through, 35-7. Cooper Marsh says, I'm the man in the state of Kansas. We step aside on Sports Radio 810. $35-7. 1:44 to go till halftime. This Mill Valley side, they are loving it. Chris Tennant, of course, hammers this one through the back of the end zone. And they're having a great time. They're partying on this side. On the far side, again, I've called a couple of games that feature Derby, and they are always the loudest side. Right now, you can hear a pin drop on that far sideline. They are not used to what's going on right now. Since 2013, Brandon Clark, again, has won 5 state championships. In those 7 years since 2013, his record is 83-6. Derby does not lose, and Derby never gets blown out. It is a 28-point lead for Mill Valley, and we're in the first half. Can Lem Wash and Derby answer the call here near the end of the first half? Sends a man in motion to the right side. Off that far hash mark, Wash is going to play fake, flags fly, trying to set up the screen for Edwards. Looking for space, picks up one block, and he is steamrolled by Colton Jagan, trailing the play at the 21, but this one is probably going to come back again. Again, this is not what we're used to seeing from Derby. This is such a well-coached team. They do not commit a lot of penalties. They always look really crisp. They have committed a lot of penalties in this first half, and it's just uncharacteristic. Again, I talked about at the top of the broadcast, this is a very green offense. They only returned 4 starters. I can't say that enough. It's critical when you talk about week 1 football. Eventually, as the season goes on, sure, those things iron themselves out, but this is not characteristic of a Brandon Clark coach team. 1:36 to go after the illegal motion penalty. 1st and 15. 1 to the left side, 3 to the right side. And Dylan Edwards to the left of Lem Wash. Wash. Flags fly again. Wash breaks a tackle. Rolling to the right side. He is going to throw one over the middle. Diving catch made near the 25-yard line. But this is probably coming back too. As going down to his knees was Mercer Thatcher. Thatcher is actually the backup quarterback. Lined up in the slot on that last play, but this is probably coming back too. It would be a gain of 10. That's where it stands for the moment, but again, likely another penalty on Derby. False start penalty is going to make it 1st and 20. The Panthers of Derby High School have won their last 26 in a row. They haven't lost since the 2017 6A state title game to current Wisconsin Badger Graham Mertz and Blue Valley North. They're down 28 right now with 1:26 to go in the first half. Setting up the screen for Edwards, far side, trying to dance his way around one. He does. He spins across the 15. He's pushed out near the 18-yard line, gets a lot of that penalty yardage back. Just shy of the original line of scrimmage. Looks like it's going to be a 2nd and about 12 play. That has been one of the lone bright spots. Dylan Edwards, only a sophomore again, 5'8", $145. He carried it for 430 yards a year ago, 7 yards a carry. He's been explosive, but he's been the only offense and now movement on Mill Valley. And going to be a neutral zone infraction as Pete Jansen got a head start. Jansen had a sack in the first quarter. This defensive front has been real good. That time they make a mistake. It becomes 2nd and 7 after the encroachment. Wash wants to go to the air. Getting chased, dumps it off to Edwards, who can't hang on. And it's going to be 3rd down. 1:13 to go in this first half. For as young as Derby is offensively, Mill Valley is very experienced. They return more than half of their starters on the defensive side of the ball, 6 of them. And they've got returning starters at every level, especially in that secondary. They returned 3 starters in that secondary who has been all over the field tonight. They have blanketed these receivers all night, and the defensive pressure from this defensive front has been outstanding. 3rd and 7, stepping up, Wash trying to get away. He does for a moment, breaks off another tackle, far sideline. He's got a 1st down and more. 45, midfield, Lem Wash is tripped up out of bounds, and there is a spark for the Derby Panthers. 1:02 to go till halftime. We've been waiting to see the athleticism for Lem Wash. This is a guy that is one of the most athletic players right now in the entire state of Kansas. Arguably the most explosive dual-threat quarterback after Arlen Bruce, remember, left Olathe North just a few weeks ago to go play high school football in Iowa. Lem Walsh kind of took over the mantle as maybe the most explosive dual threat quarterback. Finally, he shows you what he can do with his feet. To midfield, 1st and 10. Walsh is going to set up the Statue of Liberty to Edwards, who only picks up 4 on the ground. Mill Valley does a great job of staying at home, not falling for the fake. Brandon Clark takes a timeout with 55 seconds to go in this first half. 35-7. If you're just joining us on Sports Radio 810 WHB, if you're enjoying the stream on 810varsity.com, we thank you. I have received one shout out from a celebrity guest on our 810varsity.com web stream. That's Jeremy Crabtree, who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight. He's got soccer responsibilities, but hopefully he's here in the coming weeks. Jeremy Crabtree is, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, surprised by what he's seen in this first half. 35-7. Mill Valley a 28-point leader. And I encourage any other celebrities that may be tuning into the broadcast to go ahead and let me know that they're watching and enjoying this game, regardless of who they're pulling for. 2nd and 5 for Derby. Off the far hash mark, 2 to the left, 2 to the right side. Walsh out of the shotgun. Edwards remains the back to his left. Sends Reed Liston in motion to the right side. Walsh is going to keep it. Trying to bounce his way outside. Hits the sideline and is going to be out of bounds near the first down marker. Maybe he's just short. That's going to depend on the spot. It's a pretty good spot. They're going to go ahead and move the chains. 49 seconds left, and it would be huge if Derby is able to get into the end zone on this drive. Again, just under 50 seconds to go in this first half, but for an offense that has looked dormant, they need any momentum they can cling on in that second half. And this is a Derby Panther team that you know is going to bounce back in the second half. They're a very well-coached club. If they can get a score here at the end of the first half, that will do a lot for this team going into the locker room. They're going to set up the option, pitch to Edwards, hits the sideline, runs a man over at the 35, but he stays in bounds. 1 timeout remaining for Derby. They're going to opt, it looks like, to not take that. Clock running at 35 seconds. Got to get to the line quickly. Off the far hash from the Mill Valley 34-yard line. Inside 30 seconds we creep. 2nd and 5. 3 to the right side. Walsh with a fake. In trouble, getting chased by 3 Navy jerseys. Rolls right, throws back across his body. It is hauled in. A sliding catch made at the 30. It will be a first down for the moment, but there are flags everywhere in the middle of the field. And that was like a Hail Mary pass. Walsh rolled all the way to his right, just threw it up blindly across his body to the other side of the field. It was hauled in. And we'll see what the call is. It was in the secondary. And it looks like it's going to go against Derby. And it will. Looks like a pass interference call on Derby. No, an illegal man downfield, sorry, against the Panthers. Not as bad as a pass interference call as they only lose 5 yards. But now it's 3rd and 9 with just 15 seconds to go in this first half. 3 to the right, 1 to the left. Walsh. It's going to give to Dylan Edwards. They tried to set up the reverse. It's a fake. Edwards pulls it out the backside. 25-20 with a cut back near the 15. Spins inside the 12. And he's chopped down near the 11. 5 seconds to go in this first half. It whistles. And Brandon Clark, it looks like, has just used his final time out of the half. Great individual effort by Dylan Edwards again. The sophomore speedster faked the reverse and did the rest by himself, making men miss in the middle of the field, getting all the way down. Well, they mark it back at the 12-yard line, but still a great job. I'll get them all the way inside the 15-yard line. And now a conversation going on in Brandon Clark's huddle. With 5 seconds left, do you go for the end zone or do you go for the field goal? Scott Simmons, the kicker for Derby, did not attempt a field goal last year. He was 11 for 15 converting extra points. He already converted an extra point tonight. His long in pregame was from about 40 yards. They stepped him back to 45, and he came up well short of the crossbar. So this is within his range. Right here, it would be about a 29-yard field goal. Or, excuse me, a 39-yard field goal, but still. The offense, it looks like, is going to be on the field. 5 seconds to go in the first half. Brandon Clark wants to roll the dice. Keeps the field goal unit on the sideline. This is likely the final play of the second quarter. A lot of shifting. 4 to the right, 1 to the left. Wash. Low snap. Stepping up. He is going to fire one for the end zone. It is low and incomplete. Zeros across the board. Brandon Clark comes up with snake eyes. And they're going to head to the locker room down 28 to Mill Valley. 35-7. The Jaguars of Mill Valley, with a fantastic first half, have built a large lead over the Derby Panthers, who have not lost a game since 2017. We step aside and throw it back to the guys in the studio. Randy Withers, Chad Rader, have all your scores from a busy night in the metro area. It's week 1 of high school football in the state of Kansas, and right now Mill Valley is showing why they're the #1 team in the state of Kansas. Stay with us on Sports Radio 810. Welcome back to Mill Valley High School at a halftime. Thanks, guys, for that halftime report. A lot of scores across the metro area, and none more surprising than what we've seen so far tonight here in Shawnee, Kansas. 35-7. Mill Valley has opened up a 28-point lead at halftime over the two-time defending 6A state champions, the Derby Panthers. At halftime, Cooper Marsh, 9 of 12 through the air, 107 yards and a touchdown. He's also carried it 12 times for 85 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. His favorite receiver, we were talking about it in that first half, Kendall Jones has been all over the place for Mill Valley. 5 catches for 76 yards for Kendrick Jones, and he is the leading receiver. Jacob Hartman was the one that caught the touchdown pass for Mill Valley. On the other side for Derby, Lem Wash, 705 yards through the air and a touchdown, along with that 85-yard screen pass that went for a score to Dylan Edwards. Running the ball, Lem Wash, he's had a tough go. 11 carries, only 55 yards for a guy that averaged over 93 yards a contest running the football last year. Derby has got their work cut out for them in this second half. They are going to go left to right across your radio dial in this third quarter. Mill Valley is going to go right to left across your radio dial, across your computer screen. Happy to have you along on Sports Radio 810 WHB and 810varsity.com. I am Tim Spurl, and there is no place I would rather be than right here on a Friday night in September. Mill Valley set to receive this kick. It's going to be a high end-over-end kick that is going to be fielded by Kendrick Jones at the 6-yard line near the near hash. Across the 15 near the 20-yard line, he is upended right there. And here comes the Mill Valley attack. Again, I mentioned it. Cooper Marsh, 3 touchdowns on the ground and a touchdown through the air for him. Quinn Wittenauer has also added a touchdown on 10 carries and 53 yards. Kendrick Jones has been the go-to target for Cooper Marsh tonight. 5 catches, 76 yards. Jacob Hartman has 3 catches, 24 yards, and a touchdown in that first half. Mill Valley offensively, 245 yards of offense in the first half. Let's see if they can pick up where they left off to start this third quarter from their own 20-yard line, far hash mark. Marsh is going to give to Wittenauer, who dances around one tackler, crashes into another, and carries the pile forward near the 28-yard line, call it 8 yards on first down for Wittenauer as he passes the 60-yard mark on the ground in this first half. And he averaged 64 yards a contest last year as the backup tailback in this offense. Again, he spied Tyler Green, who is a tremendous running back in his Mill Valley career. And now it becomes Quinn Wittenauer's backfield. The senior, 5'11", 166 pounds. 2nd and 2 play, just underway, 11:16 to go in this third quarter. Mill Valley up 28, and with the football. Marsh out of the pistol, fakes to Wittenauer, has time, zips one over the middle. In stride, Kendrick Jones spins across the 45 of Derby and ridden down near the 42-yard line. Kendrick Jones is eaten this evening. His 6th catch of the game as he approaches 100 yards receiving on the night. 1st and 10, Mill Valley to the Derby 42-yard line. How about putting yourself on the map? 6'5", $190, only a junior. And like I said, 6 catches, and he's approaching 100 yards on the evening. Last year, 24 catches, 377 yards, and 3 touchdowns. You keep playing like this, you are going to leave those numbers well in the rear view. 2 receivers in the formation. They're going to fake to Wittenauer. Marsh with all day. Steps up. He's going to run it between 2 tacklers. He stumbles forward near the 32-yard line. That's going to be 10 and a first down. And there is a Derby Panther slow to get up near the 35. Whistles. And it's going to be an injury timeout.
We have an official timeout.
Trying to see if I can figure out who the injured Panther is. Is it Heilman? No, it's not Heilman. But 10:29 to go in this third quarter, and Mill Valley already back to exactly what they were doing in the first half, which is moving it really well, both on the ground and through the air. And that was the one thing that sort of was left off the table last year for Cooper Marsh. Even though he won the state championship, he was instrumental in that run. He really wasn't all that accurate all the time throwing the ball. Only 52% completion on the year. 2,000 yards. He threw 13 interceptions to only 20 touchdowns. So the accuracy was maybe the number one thing that Cooper Marsh had to work on this offseason. Tonight, he has looked fantastic throwing the football. 1st and 10 for Mill Valley after the injury timeout. Marsh with a fake, in trouble, sacked, and he lost the football. Derby, first one's on it, they have a turnover. And maybe that's the momentum shift that the Derby Panthers needed. Big play for the Panthers. They collapse the pocket. They get home immediately on Cooper Marsh. And, yeah, that ball was loose at the hit. There's no question about it. We could tell from up here. It's going to be Derby ball at the 36-yard line. So there you go. If you're Derby, you needed a momentum shift, and maybe that's it. Down 35-7, Mill Valley's driving, but all of a sudden your defensive line comes through, and a strip sack has given your offense the football from your own 36-yard line a lot of time all day. 10-17 to go in the third quarter, just underway in this second half. Wash wants to option left side. He does to Edwards. Edwards spins off one, and he gets dropped 4 yards deep in the backfield. First man there was Cole Clotter, rather, for Mill Valley defensively. And it'll be 2nd and 14. Derby has gone to that option look a lot tonight. And Mill Valley has been ready for it every time, seemingly. Back to the 31 they go, 9:45 to go in this third quarter. This hitch route far side is caught across the 41-yard line. The second catch of the day for Caden Brown. And it's going to bring up a third and very manageable 5 yards. That was a 9-yard play through the air. Quickly to the line goes Lem Wash and company. Could be 4-down territory in this third quarter. Sitting on your own 41-yard line. And again, got to pick up 5 yards to keep this drive alive. Down 35-7 in this third quarter are the Derby Panthers. 3 to the right side, 1 to the left side off the left hash mark. Wash, belt high snap, flares it out in the flat near side to Edwards, swimming his way in between 2 tacklers. Now he stood up and dropped in the open field at the 43-yard line. A great play made by Trey Worcestershire. Blake Martin also in the area, and it's going to be 4th and about 3. They mark him with forward progress at the 44. Is a big 4th down. They go quickly to the line. Let's see if Brandon Clark keeps his offense out there or he calls a timeout. Play clock at 15. This Mill Valley crowd makes some noise. Great to hear that sound again, isn't it? Post-COVID. 3 left, 1 right. Keeper, right side, Wash. He is going to be dropped well short by Colton Jagan. The man in the middle snips it out. And Mill Valley comes up with a stop on 4th down. Mill Valley takes over on their own side of the 50 from the Derby 44-yard line. 8:17 to go in the third quarter. And there goes your momentum if you were Derby. You got the fumble, and then you fail on 4th down. And Mill Valley right back out there offensively. Last drive, Cooper Marsh was sacked and lost the football. That's how Derby came up with that turnover. Marsh is going to play fake with time. Rolls left. He's going to tuck it and run. He scampers out of bounds near side near the 41-yard line. Call it just 2 yards on the ground. 8:11 to go in this third quarter. Both of these teams off of state championships in 2019. If somehow you were unaware of that fact. Mill Valley, the kings of 5A, they took down Wichita Northwest in Pittsburgh, Kansas a year ago. And Derby has won their last 26 straight, and they've won the last 2 6A state titles. Wittenauer goes straight up the middle and runs into a wall of defenders as he goes nowhere, and it's going to bring up a 3rd and 8 with 8 minutes to go in this third quarter from the Derby 42-yard line. You heard that right, though. Derby is 26-0 since 2017 now. 26-game win streak on the line for the Derby Panthers. 3rd and 8. After that carry goes for no yards for Wittenauer. Marsh from the shotgun, looking left, zips a comeback, completes to Kendrick Jones again at the first down sticks. That was Tiresias, his first catch of the game. That's going to move the chains, however, a gain of 8 and a first down to the 32. First grab for Tiresias. 21 catches, almost 500 yards and 6 touchdowns through the air last year for Resias out of the X-receiver spot. And he catches that comeback to move the chains. From the 32 of Derby, 7-10 to go third quarter. 35-7 Mill Valley with a lead and on the move again from the pistol. Marsh is going to give to Resias straight up the middle. He is pinballed around in there, and he fights forward to about the 29-yard line. Called a gain of 3. 2nd and 7 for Mill Valley on Sports Radio 810, WHB, and 810varsity.com. We're happy to have you along on this Friday night. Mill Valley, the number 1 ranked team in the 810varsity.com preseason top 25. From what we've seen thus far, I don't think they're going to drop. The number 1 team in Kansas, 5A in the preseason rankings. Derby, the number 1 team in Kansas, 6A in the preseason rankings. Option play. Marsh is going to keep it all the way. He's got a first down in the middle of the field out to the 22-yard line as he's ridden down by the safety, Amari Ramirez. Mill Valley continues to move the chains all night. They haven't had too many big plays. They've just moved it at a really good clip. They've kept the chains moving. Great mixture of run and pass all night. Everything has worked seemingly for Mill Valley. They do have the 1 turnover earlier in this third quarter. But outside of that, they have looked almost flawless. Resias on a counter tries to make one man miss as he nearly got upended at the line of scrimmage and scoots forward for about 3 yards.
Tackles made by number 51, Caleb Gifford.
5:25 to go third quarter. Off the Derby 16-yard line. They call it a 2nd and 4. Wittenauer to the left of Marsh. Marsh is going to give it to him. Right side, breaks off 2 tacklers, splits a defender, dives for the end zone. He's short, down to the 1-yard line. Quinn Wittenauer was maybe a half step away from taking it to the end zone for a second time tonight, but he gets tripped up at the 1-yard line. 5:04 to go third quarter, 1st and goal, Mill Valley. Wittenauer has got 1 score tonight. Cooper Marsh has ran in 3 of them and thrown for 1. On the 1st and goal, that Derby side is deathly quiet. Marsh, shotgun snap, gives to Wittenauer over the top and into the end zone. His 2nd time tonight from a yard away. Quinn Wittenauer finishes off the job. His 2nd TD, and it's 41-7 as they go back to the Strobes here in Shawnee. It's a party out here in Shawnee. Mill Valley has flexed their muscles all night long, and they continue to do so. 4:41 to go third quarter. Chris Tennant will try to make it a 35-point lead for Mill Valley. Speechless right now. Hold kick on the way. It is good. 42-7. Mill Valley showing everyone why they're the top dogs in the state of Kansas. Stay with us on Sports Radio 810. Chris Tennant, his ensuing kickoff is going to sail out of the back of the end zone once again. 4:41 quarter in Mill Valley in full control in a battle between defending state champions. Served under Brandon Clark about 12 years ago on the Derby Panther staff before he came to Mill Valley. These two teams have met up twice in the past. Once in 2014, the other in 2015. They split those two matchups, but Mill Valley is about to take a one-score lead in the cousin-on-cousin matchup. Here's a toss play that picks up about 4 yards for Derby to the 21-yard line. Sorry, just a yard on the carry, rather. This brings up a 2nd and 9, 4:20 to go in this third quarter. Off the near hash mark, Lem Wash still in there. Again, has a Missouri State offer. He is playing for a lot more. There are a lot of schools that are interested in him. He has not had a great game tonight. He's fumbled it a couple of times. He has thrown for a touchdown. He steps up into the pocket on a 2nd and 9 play, throws a hitch route over the middle and completes it out to the 34-yard line. Coming back to the football is Caden Brown. That's going to move the chains. They're going to spot him at the 33. Wash off the far hash, straight to the right side. Is going to fake to Edwards. He is going to keep it left side as he drags a tackler down to the 38-yard line. Give him 5 yards. Brings up a 2nd and 5. And Lem Wash, again, we talk about him, hasn't had a great game, but he really hasn't been bad throwing the football. It's just that he has had constant duress in his face, and this offense hasn't been able to get comfortable. Wash throws a hitch route, far side, complete again. At the sticks, they're going to move the sticks again to Caden Brown. 2 catches on the drive for Brown. Lem Wash now 8 of 12 through the air on the night. And Caden Brown, I got a couple of grabs already on this drive. Whistles before the snap, 3:11 to go third quarter. Official had an issue with the chains, and now they're off the ball. Clock back rolling. Wash, short drop, looking right, looking over the middle, stepping up, getting pressure from the backside. He is going to scramble and throw off his back foot, incomplete. Over the middle, he was looking for Mercer Thatcher. Thatcher's got good size, 6'4", a $190. You may not have caught it earlier in the broadcast. He had a catch in the first half, and I mentioned he's the backup quarterback. Last year, he didn't play a lot, obviously being the third-string quarterback, but he did complete 50% of his passes as a sophomore, threw for a touchdown, carried it 15 times last season. Even though he's the backup quarterback, he's still out there in the slot. Wash on 2nd down, flips it to Edwards in the flat, scoots around one tackle, and now he's chased down from behind. Who else but Colton Jagan? This guy has been a monster tonight defensively for Mill Valley. He is first man to the football every play, it seems like. 88 tackles a year ago. Man, it seems like he's made 80 tackles tonight already. Colton Jagan only has one small school offer from Quincy University. But boy, the guy plays like a next-level linebacker. He is quick, he is instinctive, he is smart. 3rd and 15 for Derby from their own side of the 50. Deep ball, Wash down the seam. That is tipped and incomplete. Clotter was there to bat it away for Mill Valley, and it's going to be 4th and 15 for Derby. Punt unit on. This Mill Valley defense, I didn't give them enough credit in the pregame. I said if Mill Valley has got a distinct advantage, it's on the offensive side of the ball. I didn't even mention how good they were going to be this year defensively, and they have been phenomenal so far tonight. 2:16 to go third quarter. Punt unit back out there for Derby. Jacob Hartman And Kendrick Jones back deep again for Mill Valley. End over end kick. Jones is going to have a shot at this one. Now he calls for a fair catch late and fields it at the 28-yard line. Here comes Mill Valley. 2:09 to go third quarter. 42-7. Mill Valley, we did not see this one coming at the jump. It was praised as the game of the year in the state of Kansas perhaps this week in the pregame hype. But it has been all Mill Valley. This game, by the way, brought to you by CarStar Metcalf, your local collision repair experts in Overland Park. And also make sure you stay tuned after the conclusion of this one for the 810 WHB High School football postgame show. Brought to you by Bob Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, Rooter, and Electrical. Off the 25, Marsh, high snap, stepping up in the pocket. Marsh is going to tuck it and run. Far hash, he is going to slide down near the 30 as he took a low shot. Flags fly as Cooper Marsh is slow to get up. He slid down, and now another flag flies well after the whistle. Marsh slid down as like a baseball slide. He wasn't diving. It was a slide. And when he went into that slide, a Derby defender went low. So I think that's what's going to be the call here. I don't know if he made helmet-to-helmet contact, but we'll find out what the call is. But then there was another flag after that, after they were clearing the pile. And they do say helmet-to-helmet against Derby. And then they're going to say unsportsmanlike conduct on Mill Valley. Well, unsportsmanlike's on both teams. So those offset, but the helmet-to-helmet will stand. That's a 15-yard penalty. And Mill Valley is going to take the penalty and move to their own 45. I said in the first half, a lot of penalties, a lot of mental mistakes for Derby, and they continue late into this third quarter. 2:02 to go in quarter number 3. The penalty helps Mill Valley out, puts them at their own 45-yard line. Cooper Marsh stays in there. May not be in there too much longer. The backup, Hayden Jay, the sophomore, is warming up on the near sideline. They give to Wittenauer, dancing around a tackler, breaking one, shimmying off another, and he's out near the 45 of Derby. 10 yards on the ground, straight through the middle for Quinn Wittenauer. They're going to move the chains again. He should break the century mark tonight in rushing. Wittenauer, the backup a year ago, a senior this year. This is his backfield now. And he's had a very good game. 2 touchdowns on the ground for Wittenauer tonight. And again, he's going to surpass 100 yards as well. Wittenauer gets the carry straight up the middle. This time he goes nowhere. Maybe a yard. And it's going to be 2nd and 9. 1:27 to go in this third quarter. Next up, for Mill Valley, they travel to DeSoto. That should be a very good matchup. DeSoto, again, this year promises to be another good one for the DeSoto Wildcats. In the preseason rankings, the Wildcats found themselves checking in at number 22. 2nd and 9. Marsh out of the gun is going to give to Wittenauer straight up the middle. Plows over a defender out to the Derby 39-yard line. It's going to set up a 3rd and 4 play with just under 45 seconds to go in this third quarter. Next up for Derby, they hit the road. They travel to Newton next Friday night. And I talked to Brandon Clark. The Wichita schools, they were back and forth. For a minute, they said no football. And then this past week, they said football's back on. You would think Derby being in the Wichita area, as Cooper Marsh is going to throw on 3rd down, complete to Hartman, spins around a tackler, foot race down the sideline. He's tripped up inside the 12. Down to the 11-yard line, Jacob Hartman put on the moves, and then he turned on the burners. 1st and 10 for for Mill Valley, with 17 seconds to go in this third quarter to the 11-yard line of Derby. But yeah, sorry, I was saying you would imagine Derby down in the Wichita area would have to move around more games with Wichita Public Schools being on the fence back and forth. Brandon Clark said the only game they had to find a replacement for was week 1. The rest of their schedule, they didn't have to touch. And as we wind down to the end of the third quarter, I bet Brandon Clark is already looking ahead to the rest of the schedule, because tonight is going to be something he's going to want to forget about real quick. Mill Valley adds a touchdown that third quarter. They're up 42-7 as we head for quarter 4 on Sports Radio 810 and 810varsity.com.
You are wearing your mask. Thank you.
From Mill Valley High School as we open quarter 4. It's a 1st and 10 from the 11. Marsh is going to give to Wittenauer, who gets spun around in the backfield, a loss of a yard. Good penetration defensively by Derby. Jace Jenkins off the edge was the first man there for the Panthers.
Tackles made by number
I'm Tim Spurl. You're watching on 810varsity.com, listening on Sports Radio 810. Happy to have you along. And again, despite a lot of schools not playing this Friday night, there's still a ton of schools in action. And this was supposed to be the marquee game in the area. It has been all Mill Valley, 42-7 in this fourth quarter. 2nd and 11 off the 12-yard line. They give to Wittenauer straight up the middle. He is slammed at the line of scrimmage, and it'll be 3rd and 10. Maybe picks up a yard from the Derby 11-yard line.
tackles made by number 6.
Up 35
Brings up 3rd down.
are the Jaguars. Again, preseason number 1 in Class 5A, preseason number 1 in the 810varsity.com top 25. Defending champions of Class 5A, took down Wichita Northwest in the state final a year ago and return a lot of talent this year, and it's been evident tonight. 3rd and 10 from the middle of the field. Marsh out of the shotgun is going to option left side. He's going to keep it and run into a couple of white jerseys for a yard, maybe 2. It's going to bring up 4th down, and here comes the field goal unit for Mill Valley.
Tackles made by number 57, Andon Carpenter.
Joel Appleby very content with keeping the ball on the ground here into the fourth quarter with a 35-point advantage. And it'll be Chris Tennant out there off the left hash. What's going to end up being a 26-yard attempt. His holder is his quarterback, Cooper Marsh. Last year, 14-17 kicking field goals. This 26-yarder off the left hash is hammered up and through. Tennant is 1 for 1 on the year, and Mill Valley adds 3, 45-7. The route is on in Shawnee. Stay with us on Sports Radio 810. Welcome back on Sports Radio 810, WHB and 810varsity.com. After the field goal, 45-7, we are inside 9 minutes to play. This kick out of the back of the end zone. And we are into a running clock situation now, by the way. And if you told us there was going to be a running clock in this game at any point, I wouldn't have believed you. But here we are in the fourth quarter. 45-7, Mill Valley has put a stranglehold on this game. The Derby Panthers in a huge hole, 38-point hole in the fourth quarter. And yeah, like I mentioned, running clock, we're already at 8:12. And Derby just getting lined up. I was texted a figure I didn't know of coming into tonight. I'll tell you after this play. 1st and 10 off the 20. Wash is going to run an option play. He's going to pitch late to Edwards. Loses the football. Loose, but Derby first one on it back at the 14. Second fumble tonight we've seen from the Derby tailback, Dylan Edwards. That's going to be a loss of 5. But yeah, at the top of the broadcast, I mentioned that Derby is currently riding a 26-game win streak that is going to come to an end at the end of this game. Mill Valley also recently snapped another streak. Last year, they snapped St. Thomas Aquinas' 23-game win streak. So Mill Valley, they're the streak killers. Wash has trouble on the exchange. He is going to get sacked. Back at the 7-yard line, there was an issue with the exchange. They were trying to run a play fake with Edwards. Wash bobbled it, and he just gets submarined back near the 7-yard line, 3rd and forever, with 7 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. Joel Appleby, the reigning coach of the year in Class 5A, he's going to have some family bragging rights over his cousin come Thanksgiving. And 3rd and long, 3rd and 22 off their own 7. Wash, pressure in his face again, sets up the screen for Edwards. Low grab made. He's across the 10-yard line, far sideline, scooting in and out of defenders. Somehow stays on his feet as he pins balls to the 30-yard line for a first down. Dylan Edwards picks up 20 yards after he scoops it off his shoelaces and makes some magic happen. So again, that is your bright spot tonight. They mark it at the 32. Dylan Edwards, despite the huge hole the Derby is in, Dylan Edwards has played tremendously. He had the 85-yard touchdown on the screen pass, and he's had a couple of plays just like that where he's been able to make a lot of people miss, get out in the open field and make magic happen. There is an injured Jaguar on the field. That's Aiden Schaefer. And he is a critical part of this defense. Nose guard checks in at 6'1", 280. And he's been a force tonight alongside Ethan Kramer. As they work on him, it looks like it's cramps. But while I have this second to catch my breath, I remind you to stay tuned for the 810 WHB High School Football postgame show brought to you by Bob Hamilton, Plumbing, Heating, AC, Rooter, and Electrical. This game break is also brought to you by CarStar Metcalf, your local collision repair experts in Overland Park. And if you want to check a score, check a schedule, check a player stat, go to Kansas City's first live scoreboard for Kansas and Missouri at Kansas City's home for high school sports, 810varsity.com. Not only are you going to find the scoreboard, you're going to find articles, you're going to find live web streams, everything you could want in a Kansas City high school sports website, 810varsity.com. Wash, after the injury timeout, throws a hitch route over the middle and completes it to Reed Liston, who climbed the ladder to haul that in as he gets dropped at the 39-yard line of Derby. Call it 7 yards through the air, 5:50 to go in this fourth quarter. I said we have a running clock in this fourth quarter, and it's going to look like this could be the last drive of the game for Derby. Very well could be down 45-7 with that clock not stopping unless a timeout is called. 3 left, 1 right. Edwards goes in motion to the right side. They're going to keep it with Wash on the ground. He steamrolls over a defender across the 46-yard line, picks up the first down, and now he is slow to get up. Wash remains down on the turf. He tried to get up, unable to on the first attempt, and now he pops to his feet. He's had a rough go of it tonight. He has been beat up. Taking a lot of hits. They've asked him to run the ball a lot. As he hobbles off, an official's timeout for the Wash injury as he goes off under his own power. 5:10 to go in this fourth quarter, 45-7. And one more time, I am Tim Spurl on Sports Radio 810 WHB and on 810varsity.com. And if you've listened to us in the past, I'm sure you're wondering, Well, we don't tune in for you. We tune in for Jeremy Crabtree. I'm right there with you. I only come to work because of Jeremy Crabtree. Unfortunately, unable to make it. Should be back soon, however. He hasn't abandoned you. Don't worry. 2nd and 10. Backup quarterback in. They're going to give to Edwards right side. He goes nowhere. That defensive front, again, able to crash down. Pete Jansen on the stop. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Jim McClintock ran the video, ran the web stream tonight for you guys. It may surprise you, but I am technologically inept. So I would have no idea how to even turn that computer on if it was put in front of me. So Jim McClintock has carried the weight for me, and all I do is talk. 4:30 to go in this fourth quarter, 2nd and 11. Wash off the right hash mark, back in the game. He's going to dance around one tackle or get pinballed and lose another yard. I'm surprised that Brandon Clark is letting Lem Wash stay in this game. 45-7, Mill Valley with 4:10 to go in this fourth quarter. Wash just came up hobbled 2 plays ago. Sits out for 1 play, and he's right back in. You're running with him again. He's a tough kid, though. I'll give him that. And this is a guy that's going to play quarterback, possibly running back at the next level. Guy's a freak athlete. Missouri State has offered him. He's getting a lot of Division I interest. This has just not been a great day for this offense for Derby. 3rd and 11 off the right hash. Wash is going to float a screen pass to Liston in the flat near side. Liston breaks 1 tackle, and he drags a tackler across the 49-yard line. Just shy of midfield. It's going to bring up a 4th and 8 play from the near hash mark for the Derby Panthers. Again, just shy of the 50-yard line. 3:20 to go in this fourth quarter. Derby hits the road again. They have 3 straight road games to open the season. Tonight, obviously, they made the trip up here to Shawnee. Next week, they're at Newton and then Bishop Carroll on the road September 18th before they go home the following week. Wash is going to throw a slant route over the middle. He's got Liston for a first down as he climbs his way out to the 37 of Mill Valley. Inside 3 minutes to go in the ball game. And again, this loss is going to snap a 26-game win streak for Brandon Clark and company. And since the start of the 2013 season, this is only going to be his 7th loss and his first loss in the regular season. Wash is going to fire a hitch and complete it near side, spun out of bounds after picking up 9 yards by Caden Brown. His first regular season loss, rather, in 4 by that. In the last 4 years, this will be his first regular season defeat. He hasn't lost a regular season game since the start of 2016. 4 receivers in the formation, 3 right, 1 left. 2nd and 1. Wash is going to keep it. Spin across the 25-yard line. Inside 2 minutes, there it's going to move the chains. Hunter Gray makes the stop defensively for Mill Valley. Weak side safety has been busy tonight for the Jaguars as he runs off with 1:40 to go in this running clock, fourth quarter. Wash is going to set up a bubble screen far side for Liston. Liston dancing around one tackler, steps back inside towards the middle of the field, and he's dragged down near the 16-yard line, 1:25 to go in this fourth quarter. 45-7 Mill Valley leads. They were up 35-7 at halftime. Cooper Marsh and this offense, they've kind of been in cruise control since halftime because this defense has been throttling all game. 2nd and 2, an 8-yard gain through the air. Wash is going to keep it on the ground on this second down play. Trying to get wide, breaks one tackle, high steps past another, and he's inside the 10 near the 8-yard line. Slow to get up again inside 50 seconds. Brandon Clark has all 3 timeouts left. I think he's just going to keep those in his pocket and let this clock expire on him. We're inside 40 seconds. Again, this clock is only going to stop for a timeout. See if Derby's got one more score in them before they head back for the Wichita area. 3 right, 1 left. Wash out of the shotgun with a counter step straight up the middle. Hole opens up and he walks into the end zone. with 17 seconds to go in this game. Lem Wash will limp off the field. Guy's been beat up all night. He scores a touchdown here late, however, to give Derby one more score. The clock is going to wind down, so this extra point kick is going to be the last play of the game. And it's just the difference between a 45-13 game and a 45-14 game. Scott Simmons on for the extra point. This kick is up and through, and it is now a final. 45-14. Mill Valley, the defending 5A state champions, they throttle the Derby Panthers by a score of 45-14. A 31-point victory to open up the regular season slate in the state of Kansas. It was an impressive all-around performance from the Mill Valley Jaguars. Cooper Marsh, what else is new? Had himself a great game once again. Scores 3 touchdowns on the ground. He throws one to Jacob Hartman. He lost 1 fumble on today. Quinn Wittenauer, also a very good game. Over 100 yards on the ground, a couple of 1-yard touchdown plunges for Wittenauer. Chris Tennant added a field goal in that fourth quarter to give him 45. And on the other side for Derby, again, it was an uphill battle all night. Dylan Edwards had an 85-yard catch and run back in the first quarter, gave Derby some life, but after that, they ran out of magic. It was all Mill Valley from then on. Lem Wash added a touchdown literally on the last play from scrimmage to make it a 45-14 game, but Mill Valley dominated whistle to whistle, and it is a final 31-point victory for the Jaguars. They snap a 26. They are not going to sit in the loss column for long. They'll bounce back, and they'll bounce back in a big way. We fully expect them to go deep into November like they do every year. And for Mill Valley, they hold on to that top spot at least for another week in the state of Kansas and in the city, showing everyone why they're the top dog. For Jim McClintock, I am Tim Spurl, thanking you for joining us on this Friday night on Sports Radio 810 and 810varsity.com. We're going to throw it back to Randy Withers, Chad Rader in the studio. They've got all your post-game wrap-up from across the metro area. We'll see you in a week on Sports Radio 810.